I cannot say enough how excited I am for this video. Pretty sure I've said this in my past videos, but I feel like I'm kind of in like a transitional period in my life. And so because of that, these past few months have been a little bit chaotic, but I really feel like this month, we're gonna change that. Welcome to the November reset. If you're new here, hi, my name is Janelle. I live with my boyfriend and our 2 cats, and I really love sharing about my life, my goals, how to grow. I talk about so many things in here, but what has stayed consistent throughout my YouTube journey has been these monthly resets. And also, just like every month, I'm going to be including the free templates of the Notion pages that I make. So without further ado, let's just get into the cleaning reset. Excited today. I don't know why, but I feel like my systems of like goal setting and stuff have been doing really well lately, so I'm really excited to share that with you. Before I get into the goals that I have for November and all of that November setup stuff, let's talk about what we did in October. A lot of things happened in like September, October timeframe for me, and I also did a lot of reflection, so a couple of things have changed from the last video that you saw, but I did my very best to achieve the goals that I set for October. So let's talk about them and reflect on all of that, because yeah, there's a lot of updates. Yeah, let's just talk about it. So this was my October setup, and if you remember from the last video, I wanted to do a dark theme. I basically didn't use the dark theme the entire month of October. I think I only used it like maybe the first couple of days, and then I switched back to the light theme. So yeah, I really tried to switch things up there, but I really like the light theme, and I feel like a lot of other people really like the light theme. I still think it looks good in the light theme anyway, so anyone who wants to use this template in the light theme, this is how it will look. Let's first talk about my October goals, because I actually had 4 goals, but I'm only on track to meeting 2 of them, unfortunately. The first goal that I had is actually not on here anymore. If you haven't watched my October reset, I really wanted to start a Twitch stream. At that point, I was already pretty consistent with streaming on Mondays and Fridays. So my goal for October was to add Thursday to the mix and be able to stream on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. But I ended up taking it off because I did some reflection on the whole Twitch streaming thing, and I realized that it was a lot more stressful on me than it was helpful. I know I was saying that I really wanted to continue streaming because it was helping me with my productivity, because I was doing productivity streams, but the stress of actually starting the stream and like talking to people during stream, I think that was a little bit too much for me. So again, after a little bit of thinking and reflecting on it, I decided that Twitch streaming is not for me. I tried it multiple times already, and it's just way too stressful for me. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna try Twitch streaming ever again. Although I do enjoy talking to people on stream, I think it's more harmful than it is helpful, and that's really the reason why that I stopped doing that. And as a result of that, I did not finish my video game. I was basically working on this video game only during my Twitch streams. So since I wasn't Twitch streaming anymore, I didn't finish my video game. But all is not lost. The other 2 goals that I wanted to do in the month of October, I was pretty successful with them. I mean, October is not over yet at this point. During the time of filming this, it is the 26th. So I have a couple more days left, but my next goal was to read 11 books in the month of October, and I am on track to finishing that goal. I just finished my 8th book, so I only have 3 books left. I'm currently in the middle of A Court of Mist and Fury, which is kind of a long book, but I'm more than halfway through with it, so I feel like I can get it done soon. I also wanted to read Coraline, which is a really fast read, and then maybe throw in another graphic novel in there, something just really quick for my 11th book. So I am on track to reading 11 books, which is so crazy. And I also will be talking about the books that I read in October later on in this video, just not right now. But yeah, stay tuned to the end of this video for my thoughts on all the books that I read, etc, etc. Also, if you really want to see if I do end up finishing 11 books at the end of this month, I'll probably post it in the comments of this video, and also probably on my Instagram, which by the way, if you aren't following my Instagram, please go follow it, because I post more of my day-to-day life on my Instagram. But I feel like since the month of October ends after this video comes out, I feel like I should give myself that extra time to finish my last 3 books, because 3 books within the next few days is probably gonna be a lot. Like, I feel like it's a lot for anyone. So yeah, check back in if I do end up finishing those last 3 books. And then my last goal was to apply for 20 jobs, which I did end up finishing. I know I've struggled with this in the past. I really struggle with applying for jobs. I feel like so worthless. And I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but I have really bad imposter syndrome when it comes to like coding, computer science, anything. And then when I apply to jobs and I'm reading the job description or like the requirements for the job, all of the skills that I don't have are basically right in my face constantly, and I don't know, it just makes me feel really bad. So that's why it's like really hard for me to apply for jobs, and also why this number is pretty low, because I know that people can apply to like 5 to 8 jobs in one day and do that consistently every day, but that's just not possible for me. But I'm really happy that I was able to complete this goal. Anything's better than nothing, and the only reason why I was able to apply for jobs in the first place was because I had this goal set. So yeah, there's your proof that writing your goals down is better than not writing them down. One thing that I changed since I posted the October reset was the status property that I added to the to-do list. I feel like this status property was really helpful because whenever something was like due today or overdue, like for example, if I made this due today, it will say that it's due. And then also, if I made it due yesterday, it'll say that it's overdue. And I feel like that was really helpful for me to quickly see all of the stuff that I needed to do. But yeah, I feel like this was really helpful, and so I added it to the template. Next, let's go over my habit tracker. So my only 2 habits this month were reading and journaling. I really wanted to focus on reading this month because, I don't know, this year has been really putting me on a reading slump, and it wasn't until recently that I really got back into reading. On top of which, because I had to read 11 books this month, obviously I have to read like almost every single day if I really want to accomplish this goal. So obviously I wanted reading to be one of my habits. And then also journaling. I feel like every time I journal, I feel a lot better about myself. Or actually, I've noticed that whenever I'm not journaling is when my mental health starts to decline. But I really feel like I've been super consistent with journaling this month. Reading not so much, but I was still able to read a lot. But if you notice here, there was like a huge row of check boxes here where like I basically didn't skip a day of journaling. And I know exactly why that is that I was able to stay consistent with journaling, and it's because I actually put my journal on my nightstand, and I also decided that I would journal at the end of the day instead of journaling at the beginning and the end of the day, because I know I was talking about how I wanted to journal in the morning and in the evening, but I actually ended up deciding that I only wanted to journal in the evening because I felt like that was the most helpful. So I did that, left my journal on my nightstand so that it was easier for me to pick it up whenever I was getting ready for bed or whatever. And because of that, I was really able to stay consistent with journaling. Next, let's talk about my October memories. And I actually have a lot of pictures this month, but I realized that I don't take enough pictures of myself. So we definitely need to change that in the month of November or like in future months. But yeah, there's like basically no pictures of myself in here. Anyway, the first picture is of my nails. These are actually press-on nails, and they were the last press-on nails that I put on before I started doing my own Gel X nails. These were the longest nails that I've ever put on, and they were actually really annoying to have to type and everything. These nails are still extensions and they're still kind of long. I'm still able to type with these. These ones, however, they were so long that they were actually pressing other keys. Next photo is a picture of my cat Luna. She is notorious for having terrible photos. She's actually a really pretty cat in person, but for some reason, whenever we take a photo of her, she's just not photogenic. Next photo was a photo that we took from WECFest or WeekFest. It's this car show that my brother invited us to last minute, and there was a bunch of cars in there that were pretty cool, but it was kind of small. But anyways, they had the Fujiwara Tofu Cafe AE86 there. If you watch Initial D, the anime, then you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a really iconic car, and this is probably a replica or something. Well, obviously it's a replica, it's literally an anime, but yeah, this was like a car from the anime. And then after WECFest, we had Korean food with my brother, and the food here was really good, but the service was so bad. It was like a no tipping place, but they added like a 10% service fee or something. So I feel like since you were obligated not to tip them, the servers were just like whatever about the service. But the food was really good. 10 out of 10. I forgot what the name of the restaurant is, but I will leave the name of it right here in case you want to go check it out. I really want to get more into sharing the food that we eat because Alex and I really love trying restaurants and cafes out. I'm probably gonna do that more on my short form content like shorts or reels, but yeah, I really want to continue sharing like the food that I eat. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. Speaking of Alex, here's a photo of Alex and Atlas, our other cat. I thought they looked really cute in this photo, so I took a photo of them, and I also thought it was funny that his feet were up like that. He kind of looks like a bunny. Next to that is another food photo. This was the pork belly adobo from a restaurant called Spoon and Pork. There's actually 2 locations of this restaurant, and the other location, which is not the one that we went to, is actually in the Michelin Guide, which I think, don't quote me on this, I think it's the only Filipino restaurant that is on the Michelin Guide, but I can definitely see why. Like, this was fire. Like, it was so good. And me being Filipino, I was like, I don't know, this made me so happy because since I don't live at home anymore and I'm not the one who cooks, I actually don't eat as much Filipino food as I used to, so this made me really happy. And then on that same day, we went to my friend's house because they threw like a little spooky party. The next photo is also a photo from the party. They did such a good job at throwing this party. Like, the decorations were so cute and everybody that was there was so nice. I really like talking to everybody there. It's been a while since I actually like went to a party. I think the last one was thrown by the same people. Actually, no, I threw my own birthday party. What am I talking about? But yeah, it was a really good party and the food that they made was so good. And then I don't have any pictures of this, but afterwards we made s'mores and watched Hocus Pocus. They like projected it onto their shed. Round of applause for my friend Teresa and Christy and Nick for throwing this party because it was a really nice party. That was really fun and it was really nice catching up with my friends. So yeah, next photo is probably a photo that you've seen because I did make a vlog on this, but it's a photo of my birthday cake. This birthday cake was literally the birthday cake of my dreams. I couldn't have asked for an even more perfect birthday cake because I don't know, for some reason I was thinking that we really couldn't afford to have a birthday cake like that, but since we didn't book the big lounge area in my apartment complex like I did last year, Alex decided to put the money that he saved on that towards a really nice birthday cake, and I really appreciate him for that. I'm really happy to have spent my birthday party with some really cool people, only the closest people in my life, and it was a fun time. I know I didn't do a good job of filming it, but I think what's more important is being present in the moment, and yeah, that birthday party was just amazing. One of the best birthdays that I've ever had. Next photo is a photo of, actually, this is my friend's cat. She's been keeping track of this stray cat that has been appearing outside of her house. And you can kind of see the tail here. This stray cat recently just had kittens, and this is one of them. So my best friend, she's really thinking about adopting both the mother and this little kitten right here. But the kitten is still too young to have their vaccination, so yeah, they're just keeping an eye on this kitten, and I really hope that she can adopt this kitten. Last is a photo of the flowers and the vase that Alex recently got me. He actually got me these flowers last night, and actually let me grab it right now. So he got me these flowers last night, and last weekend he got me this vase. It's actually like a book vase. I don't know how else to describe it. It's literally Pride and Prejudice. It's just a vase that looks like a book. And he just bought me this randomly, like no reason at all. Just bought it for me, bought me the flowers. That's the kind of person that you need in your life. By the way, I just posted a video on finding your ideal partner. So if you are currently on the market and you feel a little bit discouraged about the whole dating scene, I would recommend that you go check out that video. Also, at the time of filming this, Halloween hasn't passed yet, but I still do feel obligated to share with you what I dressed up as this year. We should be celebrating on Saturday and this video comes out on Sunday. So hopefully I can squeeze in the pictures of the Halloween costume, but in case I don't, like I said, go check out my Instagram and maybe I'll post a photo on the community tab, but I'm more likely to post it on my Instagram. So please go check out my Instagram because I really do want to connect with you guys on there anyway. So yeah, that is how October went. Even though I didn't feel that good about how the month started with the whole Twitch thing and throwing my birthday party, like that was stressful even though it ended up being a good party. I feel like the month of October is ending on a good note. Since I was able to apply for 20 jobs, that was probably like the thing that I've been struggling with the most. And also reading 11 books, like who reads that many books? Let me know how your October went because I would really love to know. I feel like I don't ask this enough of people, but I genuinely want to know how your October went. So leave a comment, let me know, and let's get into the November setup. Now that we've talked about how October went and all of the goals that I have for October and how all of that went, let's get into the November setup. I feel like in a lot of the setups that I've made in the past, there have been good things and bad things about them, but I think the main thing that has really helped me in achieving my goals was the way that I set up my goal database. Because ever since I made it in, I think it was like June or July, I think it was July, I've been really sticking to that way of making my goals database. What I mean is like that gallery view with the pictures and the progress bar on the goals and all that stuff. So I'm keeping it in this one. I know it's a little bit repetitive, but it's been working out so well for me so far. The only thing that has really been changing throughout the months has been the habit tracker. So this month it's gonna be different again, but let me just stop talking and like actually show you what I'm talking about, because it's just easier to talk about it that way. So here's my November setup, and I went with the cozy fall theme. It really hasn't been getting like that cold and chilly yet here in SoCal, but I really feel like it's gonna start to get that way in this next upcoming month. So that's why I decided to go with this fall theme. And by the way, if you really like my November setup, I'm gonna leave a link in the description for the free template of this Notion page. So yeah, definitely check that out, because I feel like this whole template is really helpful for me, and I really want to help other people out. I really love this theme. It's very like warm and inviting, and I had this quote here that says, "Fall is proof that change is beautiful." I really feel like I've been stressed out with all of the change that has been happening in my life lately, and I feel like I've been kind of ignoring that. I've just been kind of thinking lately, why do things feel weird right now? Why is my mental health not that great lately? But I haven't really been reflecting on like all of the change that has been happening. For example, I graduated this year, I'm looking for a job, I just turned 30, just like so many things that have been changing in my life, and I've just not been taking note of that. So yeah, all that to say that this is like a good gentle reminder that change is good, and that I should be like more aware of when things are changing in my life and be more accepting of when these kinds of seasons in my life happen. Okay, next let's get into the November goals, because that's super important. My first goal is to apply for 22 jobs. The reason why I say 22 is because there are 22 weekdays in November. I know that Thanksgiving is included in that, but I really want to like improve at least a little bit from last month. I did kind of struggle with applying for 20 jobs, so I don't want to like make this goal too much higher. And also like during Thanksgiving, I'm probably gonna be busy doing all that stuff, so I didn't really want to change this goal too much, but at least improve it a little bit. The next goal that I have is to post at least 2 shorts per week. So yeah, I've been getting into short form content lately, and I know a lot of people watch TikTok, but I'm not gonna make a TikTok because TikTok has been notoriously bad for my mental health. So I'm gonna be posting on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, which I already have been posting, but it's just not very consistent yet. So at least 2 shorts a week, which is not a lot actually. I feel like that's not really enough to grow, but I'm kind of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks right now. And I feel like 2 shorts a week is like doable enough that there's like not really an excuse for me not to do that. So yeah, post at least 2 shorts per week. See what works, see what doesn't work. We're just feeling things out right now. My next goal is to post 4 videos. I feel like October is kind of like the end of me being inconsistent with YouTube, because I feel like my YouTube growth has kind of been slowing down lately. And maybe it's because I haven't been posting as consistently, but also like my travel vlogs kind of like threw a wrench in the whole system. People didn't really come to my channel for like travel content. Obviously, I'm gonna continue to post travel content whenever I do travel, but yeah, that was like not something that people were looking for. And also it didn't help that I wasn't consistent. So in November, I really want to get back into posting weekly. And then my last goal is to read 12 books. I probably should have talked about this in the October reflection, but if you're new here, my goal for this year is to read 50 books, and I'm like 20 books behind. It's because I've been in such a huge reading slump since spring of this year, spring and summer of this year. I feel like I haven't been reading that much, but now I'm back into reading and I really need to catch up. And that's why the number of books that I have been making a goal to read have been so high. So as long as I finish the 11 books that I set out to read in October, read 12 books in November, and then read another 12 books in December, I should be able to reach my goal of 50 books this year. Next, I have my to-do list, and this to-do list actually comes from the goals that I set out for myself. So if we go to one of these goals, like the apply for 22 jobs goal, there is a table in here of the tasks to complete this goal, which is the same table as this one. I know this is the same as the last month and probably months before that, but this has really been working out for me, so I'm gonna keep doing this. But yeah, basically all the tasks to complete the goal is inside here, and then it's gonna show up on here as well. So yeah, that's what you're seeing right here. Like I said, I really like the status formula that I had here, so I'm keeping that in here, and everything is sorted by the due dates. And yeah, that is pretty self-explanatory. Next is a habit tracker, which is the thing that I did the most change on. So the way that I have this set up is the checkboxes like I had before. What's new is that you see all the days of the current week in here. So the current week right now is the week of October 23rd. This is because of this filter, which is gonna only show you the days of this current week. And also this is a Monday start. So if you have a Sunday start, it's obviously gonna start on Sunday. And I actually already put in all of the days in here just so that I don't have to like be adding the days every single day. This was kind of annoying me in the October setup because if we go back to the October one, I have to add a new day and like do 10/27 like. So in the November one, I actually just added in all of the days of November just so I didn't have to do it every single day. And also it's just automatically gonna show you the current week here. So that's like way easier for me. Getting into the habits that I wanted to do this month, the first two are the same ones as last month. Obviously, if I wanna read 12 books in this month, I have to be reading like almost every single day. And I also really want to continue my journaling habit, and checking off these boxes is also very satisfying. So I really wanna keep doing these two habits and keep up that satisfying checkbox thing going on. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I really wanted to add 3 habits to this month, but one of them is something that I kind of already do, and then the other 2 are really easy, so I don't think it's gonna be that bad. But the first new habit that I wanted to implement was content. This could mean any sort of content creation, whether that's like script writing, editing, filming, etc. Any form of like making content, I really want to do that just to keep up with my goals of making 2 short form content per week and making 4 videos in the entire month. Next goal that I wanted to implement is the 7:30 a.m. wake up. I feel like there's not really that much structure in my life, and I really want to start doing like a morning routine. So this month I really want to start my morning routine, not fully implement an entire morning routine, but like start off with like what time to wake up. Then after that, I could probably start like habit stacking and stuff. But for now, just like the 7:30 a.m. wake up. And then also I really want to make my bed in the morning. Like that's the very first thing that I really want to do in the morning. Actually, I'm thinking about changing this right now because I feel like what I struggle with is like using my phone right after I wake up. So maybe I should change this or add, I'm gonna think about this a little bit longer because making my bed is very important. It's a good like foundation to start habit stacking, but I feel like using my phone first thing when I wake up is probably gonna hinder that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna like reflect on this a little bit longer, but yeah, definitely the 7:30 a.m. wake up. That's definitely gonna be something that I'm gonna do this month. Next, I have this habit completion rate, and it's basically gonna track the percentage of the days that you check off compared to all of the days that are in your habit tracker. So I'm actually not gonna have this week in the template. I was just showing this as like an example because it is filtered by like the current week. So the percentages are not gonna be the same as what you're seeing right now. But whenever you check something off, like for example, if I check off this reading habit, it's gonna increase on this tracker. And also a cool extra thing that I added was the weekly habit completion rate. So like I said, this week is not gonna be in the template. So it's actually gonna start on October 30th or October 29th if you have a Sunday start, because I will be adding a Sunday start weekly tracker. But anyways, you're gonna be able to see your weekly progress and your weekly percentages here. It's just not showing up because this day is not included. So let's go to another day that is in here. Let's click on the checkbox on October 30th. And yeah, there you go. Lastly, I have Thanksgiving recipes and groceries. One thing about me is that my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. I really love Thanksgiving because of the food. I feel like the food that is served on Thanksgiving is like super comfort food for me. And then also Thanksgiving is like a time where your family gathers together and like, you know, you spend time together with your family, and that's something that I really value. Thanksgiving is Also, the only time that I really cook in the year, it's so weird because I hardly ever cook, but for some reason Thanksgiving just like does it for me. So yeah, I'm gonna be putting my Thanksgiving recipes in here. I haven't filled this out yet at all because, you know, throughout the month I'm probably gonna be adding stuff in here. And what's cool is that when you go into the recipe, it has this table here of the ingredients, and whenever you add like a new ingredient, like for example the actual turkey, it's actually gonna show up in this table right here. I don't know if you saw it in the background, but everything that you add in your recipes is gonna be added to this grocery list, and then whenever you check something off in here, it's gonna go away. So that's really cool, and it's gonna make things way easier for me for when I shop for groceries for Thanksgiving. But yeah, that is the November setup. Let's quickly look at the template so that I can show you how to use it. I'm gonna update this before I post this video, obviously, because there are stuff in here like this empty quote here. I'm gonna fill that out, and then also I'm gonna add the Sunday Start weekly habit completion rate tracker or whatever. But I basically have everything already done here for you. I have a few goals in here. You can always add a new one in here, and it's automatically gonna have the task to complete this goal in here. But if you want to have more than 4, you can always add another one. These photos, I literally just searched fall cozy aesthetic on Pinterest and just found the ones that match this color palette. Like I said, everything that you add in the task list inside your goals will show up on here. You can always add different tasks that are not related to a goal in here too, but it's been helpful for me to achieve my goal, so I only use it really for that. Next is the habit tracker, which this week is not going to be in there. This is just an example, because by the time that you watch it, all of these days are going to be over already. So yeah, it's going to start on October 29th or October 30th for you. And then also I have the habit completion rate, which I do need to add the Sunday Start here, like I said. And then we have the habit completion rate here. I actually have 10 habits in here so that you probably don't need to add more habits than 10. I feel like having more than 10 habits that you're trying to keep track of is a lot. And you just fill these out and then change the icon. And then you just delete all the rest of them if you don't need to use them. So just delete property and then delete property on here as well. But I'm gonna keep it to 10. I feel like 10 is more than enough habits to keep track of. Whenever you add a habit, you can always change the icon too by clicking on it and then clicking on the icon and then choosing whatever icon that you feel is appropriate for the habit that you want to track. Same thing for this one, just click on this and click on this little magnifying glass to change the icon. And then of course you have the Thanksgiving recipes and groceries. You can add whatever recipes or groceries that you want in here. You can delete this if you want, if you're not going to be cooking for Thanksgiving or if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But if you did, I feel like this will be really helpful, so I included this in the template. I want to talk about the books that I've read so far in this month. I'm talking about this after I've talked about my October and my November setup because I feel like not everybody's into books. I know that a lot of people are into books, but not everybody is. And I really didn't want to have this in the middle when people are trying to look at my Notion templates. But this is actually the Notion page that I made for all the books that I'm reading in 2023. I'll probably make a separate video on this, but I really just want to know how many people would actually want to use this. So if you're interested in a template and me going over my books read in 2023 Notion page, then definitely let me know because I really want to talk about it. I worked really hard on it and I'm having a lot of fun using it. But anyway, let's talk about the books that I've read this month so far. The first book that I read in the month of October is Succeeding with Adult ADHD by, I don't have the author on here actually, by Abigail Lavrini. I didn't rate this book because it's a nonfiction book and it's hard to like judge how good a book is or isn't unless you like actually apply the principles in it. But I feel like since I listened to this on audiobook, it wasn't as helpful as it would have been if I just read the physical copy of it. I honestly don't really want to implement the stuff that was talked about in here. I've kind of just been like doing things intuitively and I feel like that's been helping me a lot. Next book that I read was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This book really put the joy back into reading for me. This book is a literary fiction that follows the lives of two people. They're like best friends and they're also game developers. So it follows their lives from childhood to adulthood and all the stuff that they struggle with after their success of making video games. I talked about this a little bit in one of my vlogs, I can't remember which one, but I can't say enough how much I love this book. And I've heard it described as like a platonic love story, which I know it sounds like super weird, but it definitely hits that. I am obsessed with books about friendship, and this book 100% hit everything that I wanted in a book about friendship. Oh, and also this book has definitely become my favorite of this year. Next book that I read was King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This book is about a mortal princess who is forced into a marriage with the king of the vampires, and it's basically the beginning of their rule together while they fight an unknown entity. There's like an enemy that pops up in the middle of it. Enemies to lovers, very steamy adult fiction if you're into that. This is the same author as A Touch of Darkness, so if you really like that book, this is right up your alley. Also, I should mention that I have a little bit of an obsession with vampires, so I might be a little bit biased on the books that I read that are about vampires. So yeah, I rated this a 4-star. Next book that I finished was A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically like a literary fiction book about a group of 4 friends and like their lives. It starts from their college age all the way into their 50s. I started this book in January and I only finished it this month. But it is a really long book and a lot of traumatic themes in here. So I actually don't recommend it, even though it's one of the best books that I've read this year. I cried a lot, and then when I was telling my boyfriend about the story, because I like to relay like the stuff that I read to my boyfriend, when I was recounting what happened in the book, I started crying again. But I don't recommend it because there's like so many like triggering themes in here that I don't want to put someone else through that, honestly. Next book that I read was Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. This is the very first book that I read by R.F. Kuang, but I've always really wanted to read Babel. I feel like I would really love Babel, but I just have to get through all of these books first before I get that one. But I read Yellow Face and it was honestly so good. The book is about 2 writers. One of them is white and one of them is Asian, and it follows the POV of the white girl. The white girl is kind of struggling in the publishing industry while the Asian girl is flourishing. She's kind of like the golden girl in the writing scene at the moment. But unfortunately, a tragic accident happens that kills the Asian girl, and the white girl actually steals the Asian girl's manuscript and publishes it under her own name, which is a really crazy plot. Honestly, that's what drew me in at first. Super crazy plot, super unhinged main character. The amount of mental gymnastics that she was doing to justify her actions was insane. And it also does like a really great job of highlighting the issues in the publishing industry. Like, who would ever think of this stuff? Like, it's so creative and absolutely loved it. 5-star. Next book that I read was Carmilla by J. Sheridan LeFanu. This is my second reread, so I've read this book 3 times now. If you haven't heard of this book, it's basically a vampire book that predates Dracula. So it actually came before Dracula. It's a classic novel and it's pretty much like a lesbian vampire story, which is crazy considering the time that it was written in. A really great book to get you into classics if you've always wanted to get into them. Next book that I read was Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This book is about 4 women who go into this area called Area X. It's been closed off to the rest of the world, and this is like the 12th expedition. All of the people from the previous expeditions have either died or have returned and died shortly afterwards, and the main character in the story is the biologist. I've never watched the movie, but from what I've seen from like the trailer and stuff, it's quite different from that, but it does go into the same themes as like evolution, life and death, and I thought it was pretty okay. It's just kind of vague, like all of the stuff that's happening. Lastly, I read Fangs, and I think this is my second reread also. So I've read this 3 times, just like Carmilla. This is a graphic novel, so I got through this pretty quickly. It's a really simple story. It's about a vampire and a werewolf falling in love, and it's sprinkled in some like really cute dark humor in there as well. I really love this book. Even though this is my 3rd time reading it, I found myself grinning from ear to ear and laughing out loud reading this book. So yeah, highly recommend this book as well. So that is it for my November reset. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, let me know how your October went, and also while you're at it, let me know what your November goals are. I would really love to know, and also maybe we could keep each other accountable. Thanks again for joining me on this video, and I will see you in my next one.